Okay, I finally got in some more laminate, so I'm going to cover laminating maps. This was a request by someone over on Bitchute about 2 months ago. I messed up the laminate I had and I ran out, so I'm redoing that video because it turned out terrible. Now, this person had a question. They asked me how to protect their maps. They have some paper maps. They were wondering what they could put on it to protect it against moisture, what type of chemical or coating they recommended to put on. And I told them, use laminate. That's what we used in the military. When you look it up, the easiest that will be for you to get a hold of and use is cold roll laminate. You do not need a machine for it. And this is what it looks like. Comes in big rolls like this. You can get them in varying lengths, you know, that direction and also widths. But this is the most common, and this is big enough for a military map. Now, I got down here one of the maps we had when we were in the desert. I'm showing you this as an example that you don't need to have a printed type map from a store or purchase from online. You can print off maps. When you print it off, make sure each individual sheet that you print out on your printer is the same scale going from one sheet to the next. And make sure that you can overlap the sheets to line up any grid lines, roads, and all that stuff easily. And point out some things when you do it like this, a collage of maps. Make sure you line up your grid lines and your roads. You don't want them being off. Also, a note when you're laminating maps, make sure you press the seams together good. Keep moisture or, like what happened in the desert, sand from getting inside your maps. Because that, like here, it can obstruct terrain features. Now the map I'm going to laminate is just a basic land nav map that would come with correspondence books. This is a map of Columbus, Georgia. This is for Fort Benning. Now, to do this particular job, you can do it on a map this size by yourself. If you're doing a larger map, like a road map, it might take 2 people. The materials you need, obviously, your roll of laminate. It helps to have a dowel or a broom would work. We did that quite a few times in the military. Helps to have tape to hold your either your map or your laminate down, depending on what you're doing. And the scissors so you can cut your laminate. Now, on some of these, on the back side of the laminate, you'll see it's gridded off. It makes it easier for cutting. I recommend when you're cutting your laminate, make sure you get about a 1/2 inch overlap on each edge if possible. That will help you to better seal the edges, cut down on moisture getting through. But first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to tear off some tape. Four pieces, enough for one for each corner if needed. Then it's damn near impossible to do this part with gloves on, so I'm doing this off on the side with the gloves off. I know we tried using rubber gloves and that stuff when we did this before, me and the camera guy, and it just turned into a fucking mess. So, glove back on. Line up our edge on the bottom as best we can. Make sure everything's as straight as possible on our left and right. Now I'm going to try to make sure I get a good ½ inch or so on the bottom here. Piece of tape on the corners to hold it down. Okay, camera guy, if you can show the corner on what I did, just turn it a little bit. See here, just tape to hold it down. Move the stuff I don't need out of the way for right now. Roll it out flat as possible. The length of your mat. Get yourself your overlap that you want. I think I'm going to give myself a little extra. And I'm going to use one of the little grid line guidelines on the back to guide me for my cut. Set my laminate to the side. If I'm doing front and back of the map, I will do 2 pieces right away or 4 pieces depending on the size of your map and how you're doing it. I'm only going to do one side of this map sheet because I'm not going to be using it in the field. It's just probably going to be used for maybe some land nav classes, and it's going to get put on the whiteboard, so it doesn't matter. So, laminate to the side. Take my tape. Peeling off the tape from the corners and setting it nearby on the edge of the table so I can reuse it. Now, when I'm unrolling this, one side has the plastic side, the other side has the paper. Obviously, underneath the paper here is the glue. So, when I roll it onto the dowel here, I want the plastic side facing the dowel, and I'm going to go from the bottom up. So, get this kind of laid out. Dowel on top, and I'm going to reverse my way down to the bottom. As you're rolling it, try to keep it as tight as you can on the dowel. It makes it a lot easier when you're unrolling. Sometimes it does take a few retries to get it on here right. Yes, camera guy is here. Camera guy can help, but I don't want him to because I'm trying to show you how to do it by yourself first. Now it is not lined up, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up laminate so it's pretty close, and then move my dowel back through. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to peel 1 inch or 2 of the paper off the laminate. And then I'm going to start peeling it out here. I got to get started first. Which, once again, is one of those things I cannot do with gloves on, so I got to do that off screen. Start at one corner, start to peel some of the paper off. Get it started. Some people always ask, why do I wear gloves during the videos? It's for OPSEC reasons, operational security reasons. Who knows how good the computers are that they use to monitor this channel. For all I know, they can pick up fingerprints very easily. Okay, so now go down here carefully. Let me get the edges of the map good. Make sure I got my overlap. And what I'm doing right now, if camera guy will show you after I get it here, I actually laminated it straight to the table if he'll show you. Here's the edge of the laminate. You don't want to do this on your good kitchen table, okay? You want a cruddy table, flat surface. Now, when you're rolling this out, you do not want air bubbles, you do not want creases. So that's one of the reasons why we use the dowel, one hand on each end. And he can show as I roll it out. You come across a crease, press it out as quick as you can before it gets real bad. As you see here, as I'm moving forward, the laminate is rolling out on the map. The backing is separating. Now, if I got everything lined up just right, there we go. And they came off. The dowel helps roll it out, flattening up against the map. Now, when you would do the back side, you'll obviously peel this off of the table, flip the map over, take your tape, put it on each of the four edges, and you're essentially going to do the same thing. Roll it out so that the paper side will roll forward as you're pressing the laminate down onto the map. After you got it together, go through, make sure, press the edges tight together to take care of any air bubbles, so nothing can get in to damage your map. Now, I will show here one of the regional maps that I've been dicking around with that I need to finish up. This is your typical road map. Like I said, this is a big regional. I'm trying to get them for each region of the US so I can look at them as needed. These maps are wider than your standard roll of laminate. If you want to show that to camera guy, show the edge a little bit here or something. See, it's just short over here, and it's about the same on the other side, short about an inch. So something like this, when you're putting the laminate on, you're going to have to go this way. You're going to have to go east-west or west-east instead of north-south. When you do this, the first pieces you put on will be the bottom part of the map. So typically that'll be the southern part of your map. And then your top piece we'll go over the northern half. Make sure to overlap, say about an inch or so in the center, maybe a little bit more. You want a nice little overlap here to cut moisture getting underneath. The reason that you overlap the top over the bottom is in case this is hanging up inside somewhere on a map board, moisture hits it, it's going to be like shingles on your house. The moisture is going to travel down over the map. It's not going to hit an edge, then it get fed underneath the laminate to get the map wet. We found out when doing these, it's easier when we're doing rolling it east-west. We still start unrolling the laminate from the bottom of the map going up. Don't try going east-west with the laminate. We ended up with some big issues, and we actually tore up one map that we had to replace. And I'm still waiting for that map to come in. I have to order them from online. I'm still waiting for it to show up yet. So go from south. You know, instead of it being rolled like this, you're going to roll it going down and that stuff. Roll it going to your north. Bigger maps like this are going to take two people. You're not going to do it necessarily with one. If you're lucky, your dowel will go across the map completely. If you're not lucky, well, good luck to you. That's why you need two people. One on each end, holding down. Same thing, start the edge. We got the nice straight edges down here, so it'll be easier for us to go from here going up. If you think it's going to be difficult for you, practice with a junk map first before you go through and do the ones that you really want to do, okay? Like I did with Fort Benning map. Completely useless to me. I'm not in Georgia. You know, so if I screw it up while I'm putting the laminate on, who cares? Great way to practice. Hopefully this gets you somewhat of an idea on how to do this. It's not that hard. It just takes patience, takes practice. Go slowly. Try not to get any air bubbles in here. If you get some, press it out. Try pushing the air to the closest edge. Try not to get too much of a crease in here, either in the laminate or the map. When you're rolling the laminate out, make sure the map is nice, flat, smooth on the table. That's the best advice I can give you on this. We got a lot of overhang on this one. What we would do after we'd press them together, if we so choose, we can go around with the scissors, cut the excess off, make it look better. Now for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot Militia movements, always remember, essayons.